WGT Players, Clint here. Today I'm going to cover how to learn your clubs. I made another video where I talked about how to improve your clubs and shots using apparel, which I will put in the link to that video in the description box below. And now I'm going to cover how I learned the actual distance of my clubs. Of course, different things like wind and elevation will affect the actual distance of your shots, but if you at least know your actual club distances, you'll have a better shot once you figure all the other things like wind and elevation during your gameplay. Now you want to do this using the same ball type you normally use to get the most accurate numbers. And I'll warn you though, it'll take a few hours to do this, to go all through your clubs, and you'll also use up a lot of balls. But once you're done, you'll have less ball hits during actual game playing, and you'll have better scores. So the first thing you want to do is go onto a course in practice mode, and I usually find out that Kiowa, the first hole at Kiowa, is the best one to do this with. But just go into practice mode, and you want to get a good wind. What I mean by good wind is a light wind, something under 3 miles per hour. I just happened to run across this, and after about 3 tries, it's a 2 mile an hour, almost side-to-side wind. Of course, what you do is you go in here, and if you get a wind you don't like, you just click on that right there, restart round, restart, and it'll restart and see what the wind is the next time. Just keep doing that till you get a good wind. Basically a good side-to-side wind. That way it's not pushing or pushing your ball. And after that, it's simple. You just hit your clubs. Start off with your driver, hit it, and you want to do it just like you would do in regular gameplay. All of my tees, unless I'm hitting directly into a heavy headwind, they're all full backspin. So just basically just hit the ball. Got a ding. And you see that carry 311, it rolled 1 yard, so that actual distance would be 312. And you probably want to do that, I would say, to get an average. I did it 10 times per club. You can do it 5 or whatever, just to get your average of what your actual distance is. And of course, you want to get as close to a ding as you possibly can. A ding is even better. Of course, I'm not the ding king, so I just get as close as I possibly can. Okay, that was 323. So if you miss ding just a little bit, depending on the wind, it'll actually take you further. So that's why I say you want to get an average. Do that. That's why I did that 10 times. Just keep doing that over and over again, and then get your average and write that down for your driver. And then you just change your 3-wood and do the same thing. But backspin or however you do your drives. It's 240 or 254. Because see, if you'll notice, no, I don't want to buy balls. It's 254, but my 3-wood is rated at 252. That's why you want to do this. Like my 3-iron is 220, but if I actually hit it to get the actual yardage, boy, don't do that one. Try that again. There we go. See, it's rated at 220, but the actual yardage, once I do the carry and the roll, is 218. So, a couple of yards difference there. That's why you want to get the actual yardage of your clubs on your drives. And one thing on the apparel video that I made earlier, See, my driver is actually a 282, but with the apparel I have, it's giving me 12 more yards, so it's actually 294. And my 3-wood is, I think it's 252. Let me check here real quick. $242. But with the apparel, I get 252. So, and also you can tell on your apparel here. I'll just do a quick view on this, what I was talked about in the other video I made. You go up here to your apparel, and I'll do my long driver. See, with the swing edge cap, it gives me a plus 46, level 6. Basically, I get 2 yards per level. Because my driver, I have 12 extra yards, I'm at level 6. So when I hit level 7, I'll have 14 extra yards instead of just 12. But that's the apparel I was telling you about on a previous video. And once you get all of your clubs done for your tees, then work on your approaches. And then what you just do, you just get as close to the end or the beginning of the fairway as you can. Let's see, 160. Whoop, didn't quite make it. That's fine. That's why we're in practice mode. I'll just knock it up for a little bit. A little too far, but that'll work. But you do the same thing. Of course, on this course, you wouldn't be able to do, or I can't anyway, your 3-wood or 3-iron because, whoop, wrong button. Because I don't have enough fairway for my 3-wood or my 3-iron. So what I did was I went to, I think it was hole 9 at Pinehurst, and did my 3-wood and my 3-iron there. I think that was one that had a nice straight fairway. And you also want to have I know it's pretty hard to find this totally flat fairway, but you don't want to do this on a hilly fairway because you want to get the most accurate number. So you want to try to find one that's fairly flat. And Keywood is pretty flat fairway. So what you do is just basically, I'll get my little 64 wedge. Of course, you want to move your flag so you're not knocking it into a rough. And you just do the same thing. Try to get as close to the ding as you can. If you don't like it, just try it again. So you notice how much backup it is on that ball. You want to note that. Okay, so it's a 60-yard carry, but it backed up 45 or 5 yards, which would make it 55 yards. So do 10 of those, get the average, and do those on all the clubs for your approach. Let me do 5-iron. Well, if I do 5-iron, I might not be able to do 5-iron. There we go. I also do all my approaches full backspin, unless it's on my 64 wedge, because my 64 wedge and my ball has a lot of spin in it. So, and I'll go over, I want to do a video just about a 64 wedge alone, because there's a lot to consider using a 64 wedge because of the extra spin you get depending on your ball and of course the club itself. But most of my approaches, I always do full backspin. Okay, so that's 184 carry and 2 yards. to be 186, even though my 5 iron is supposed to be 190. So like I said, do that on all your clubs and take an average of them, and then you know your actual closest to possible club average or distance for each club. And after I got that done, I started playing. I got this little spreadsheet here, and these are all my actual approaches, and these down here are my par 3, my drives. On every approach I have, I put up on whatever club it is. If I was, I was right on the money on this on my 9 iron. Another shot I was 6 over, 2 over, 2 over, 1 over, 1 under, so on and so on. And I have my average right here. And after 10 shots, I look at my average, and it would tell me, like right here, like my 9 iron. Right now, the average is plus 1.6 yards. And I'll try to keep it under 2 yards. So if this happens to be under 2 yards, then I'll know that it's what I call calibrated. And it's because the last time I put what I changed here, and I put the date that I changed it. So the last time I changed this was on the 2nd of October, but I didn't actually change it because I left it the way it was. And if my 10th shot, if it still is under 2 yards, what I do is I highlight it, as I did here, this one, and the 3 iron. They're pretty well calibrated, and so I make them bold in a different color, and that way I know I don't have to mess with that anymore until I get new clubs or new ball or something. But I do every 10 shots, I'll look to see what the average was, and then I change it. And like this one here, my 8 iron is, as of right now, after 7 hits, it's averaging out as short 2 yards, minus 2. So let's just say after my 10th hit, I'm still, well, if it's minus 2, I'll just leave it like that. But say it's minus 3 after my 10th hit. I will take 3 off of my distance for my 8 iron. If I was plus 3, I would add 3 to my distance. And then I would start over again and do 10 more hits, see what that is. And if you're not sure how to do a spreadsheet to where you get your averages, it's pretty simple. You just click on whichever cell you want the average to be in. And let me bring this out a little bit. Up here where it says auto sum, click on that, select average. And then you want to highlight, just click and drag what cells you want to have on your average. Let go of your mouse and then hit enter. Then this will come up. But that'll be like that until you start actually entering numbers. Like say, I was 1 long, 4 long. See how it changes every time I enter something? Short 2 or 6 long. Every time you change it, your average changes. Okay, and after 10, I know that club, I don't need to mess with it because it's below 2 yards. Okay, so that's how you do that. And then every 10 shots, you just exit those out and then start over again if you haven't got it completely calibrated yet. Okay, so that is the way to learn your clubs. That's a very important way. I mean, you can go out on YouTube and find out all kinds of figures and graphs and stuff of how to calculate your wind, elevation, blah, 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 blah. But if you don't know the actual distance of your clubs, and always go by just what it says here, which is never correct. That's either long or it's either short. No, actually, because it also depends on your ball. Like on my ball, you got different spins and different distances. I got a distance of 5.3 and my spin is 4.2. Okay, so depending on your ball and all that and the wind and all that, but that's a good way to learn your clubs. And if you get a new ball with a different distance, you want to do it again. Get a new club or new clubs, whatever you want to do to get on those clubs you get. if you have apparel and your driver goes up 2 yards, instead of just adding 2 yards to your actual distance, you want to go ahead and recalibrate it again just to make sure it's 2 yards, because sometimes it might be 3 yards or 8 yards, you don't know, or it might be 1 yard only. So anytime you change something, as in your club, your ball, then you want to recalibrate your club to get it the actual distance again. All right. Well, I'd like to thank you for watching and listening to my video, and you